I imagine that right now you're feeling a bit like Alice. Tumbling down the rabbit hole?
You could say that.
No. I'm overdue. I'm really in a stew. No time to say goodbye. Hello, I'm late.
My, what a peculiar place to have a party. You know, Dinah, we really shouldn't be doing this. After all, we haven't been invited, and curiosity often leads to trouble. Goodbye, Dinah. Goodbye. Well, after this I shall think nothing of falling down the stairs. What if I should fall right through the center of the earth and come out the other side where people walk upside down? Oh, but that's silly. Nobody... Oh! Oh, Mr. Rabbit, wait!
One of the rings at Cern is named Alice, like Alice in Wonderland going down the rabbit hole or the bottomless pit. As I've shown you guys, Cern is a giant eyeball. Right where the two rings that send particles round about, right where they connect, is where the black hole is made when the particles crash into each other. Hence the rabbit hole or the bottomless pit. The center of your eye. A black hole traps light. It traps light, and your eyes are receptors for light. So in the center of your eye, if that is the bottomless pit, black hole, then when the light tries to go inside, if the bottomless pit is open, then it is trapping the light from entering the body. And Matthew 6:22 says, if thine eye be single, then your body is full of light. But if the light can't get in and is being trapped by the bottomless pit that is opened in the center of your eye, then your body cannot receive light. Hence, the opening of the bottomless pit inside people, making them unable to receive the light of God. The other ring at Cern is named Atlas, just like 3-eye Atlas or the third eye Atlas, the mind's eye. If thine eye be single, then the body is full of light. So one ring is named Alice and the other Atlas. And Alice goes down the bottomless pit or the never-ending almost rabbit hole. And Atlas is the third eye, the 3-eye Atlas. Atlas also is said to hold the world up on his shoulders. So Cern is a giant eyeball. And when these particles crash into each other in the front of the eyeball, where the two rings meet, just like the eye, then it creates a black hole, a bottomless pit. Cern has everything to do with opening the bottomless pit within people. one of the things that Alice sees as she's floating down the bottomless pit or the rabbit hole is a reflection of herself upside down in the mirror and in reverse. And wouldn't you know it, that is how the eye receives images. The eye receives images upside down and in reverse, and then the mind flips everything right side up and frontwards. In the very beginning, when she first starts going down the rabbit hole, they show a silhouette of her eyes being lit up in the dark. The eyes. Another thing that she sees on the way down the rabbit hole is a dragon. Very biblical. Dragon cast out of heaven. She also sees what kind of looks like a flat earth map. And then it zooms in and she sees people walking on the bottom upside down like a globe. And she says, "Oh, how ridiculous." Right? Because they're telling you, like, it's ridiculous to think that people are walking upside down on this globe. So when it came to me, as I was looking at Cern from a top view, that Cern was actually a giant eyeball, and where the particles collide, where the circles meet, that is where the black hole or the bottomless pit opens, and that is a picture of the center of the eye, the black center, the bottomless pit of the naked eye. Just like in the garden, when they lost their covering and they knew that they were naked and their eyes were opened. And that's where the term comes from, the naked eye, when there is no covering. So if the eye is naked without covering, then the bottomless pit is opened. So when I realized all this, then the other day, last night, it came to me. Wait a second. This matches something that I heard about Cern and the bottomless pit. I'm going to show you a clip of a gentleman named Tom Horn. And I want you to think about everything that he's saying about Cern and take it to the human body. Because the body is the house of God, the temple of God. The kingdom of God is within. Think internal.
On the drawing board at Cern than what is being admitted. Even Adam Barker of Tech Bubble wrote of Cern a while back that with the LHC, Cern are expecting to find other dimensions and open portals to these dimensions. If you have the image of Stargate in your head right now, you're spot on. That's what he said. And then he went on to draw parallels to the biblical story of Jacob's ladder. Perhaps you remember the dream that says, "Behold, there was a ladder set up on the earth, and the top of it reached to heaven. And behold, the angels of God were ascending and descending on it." Then Jacob wakes up from his sleep and he says, "Surely the Lord is in this place, and I did not know it." And he was afraid. And he says, "How awesome is this place? This is none other than the house of God, and this is the gate of heaven," Genesis 28. Now this ladder, described in the first book of the Bible, describes something like a portal from heaven to earth through which God's angels, interdimensional and spiritual beings from another reality, were traveling. When Jacob wakes up, he refers to the location as a gate, much like today's trendy terms gateway or Stargate. One of Cern's goals is to recreate Jacob's ladder, according to Barker, and to reopen a portal. Now, Sergio Bertolucci, who is the official director for research and scientific computing at CERN, he was asked a while back about this extra-dimensional doorway by the Register, which is a London and New York operated science and technology journal. And he didn't hesitate with an enlightening response. He said, yes, out of this door might come something, or we might send something through it. Now, prophecy in numerous parts of the Bible refer to a coming day when portals will be opened and spiritual entities are going to pass through and come to the earth. Now, if that's true, and if those verses are accepted for their literal meaning and not written off as some kind of poetic allegory, as some scholars have claimed, then the idea of CERN playing with gateways is a major concern.
This is Houston. Say again, please.
And if, as CERN claims, they're only out to explore space, time, matter, particles, and the origin of our known universe and planets from exclusively a scientific or Darwinian-related perspective, if their agenda is unrelated to Bible prophecy entirely, then what is it with all this mystical symbolism that they knowingly are associating themselves with? Wouldn't it be more appropriate for them just to proudly display a polished statue of a particle or some artist depiction of the Big Bang instead of the statue of Shiva? For those who have not yet heard about this controversial piece of art that CERN proudly exhibits between buildings 39 and 40 near the main building of their operation, it stands as really the most visible and celebrated imagery behind their work, Shiva. This is the Hindu god of destruction. In 2004, the government of India, which has had a long-standing friendship with leaders behind the CERN project even before the completion of the Large Hadron Collider, they gifted CERN with this bronze work of an art depicting Shiva as Nataraja, the lord or sometimes king of the dance. This dance that Shiva performs in the sculpture is the one that provides the source of the creation cycle in Hindu mythology, the preservation of all life in existence and the termination of all life in existence. The Rudra Tandava is a dance that especially displays Shiva's sadistic personality as he rains down the ultimate destruction upon a weary planet. The plaque at the side beside the statue, however, reads in part, hundreds of years ago, Indian artists created visual images of dancing Shivas in a beautiful series of bronzes. In our time, physicists have used the most advanced technology to portray the patterns of the cosmic dance. The metaphor of the cosmic dance thus unifies ancient mythology, religious art, and modern physics. So right there out in the open for all to see is a direct correlation between the Hindu perception of Shiva hundreds of years ago, which is the concept of destroyer that I explained a moment ago, and our time, unifying, quote, ancient mythology, religious art, and modern physics.
Something is going on.
You think everything's a conspiracy?
Everything is.
Additionally, and perhaps even more important, there's a significant section of CERN that is built upon the Saint Genus Poili, which is a commune in Ain, a department of France. In Roman times, the Saint Genus Poili was called Apaliacum, but the town and a temple were dedicated there in ancient times to Apollyon, the destroyer, the Shiva Horus, if you will. Apollyon is also the angel of the bottomless pit, referred to in Revelation 9:11. And then there is a connection between CERN and the Gothard Base Tunnel, the GBT, which is the world's deepest and longest tunnel system, consisting of two parallel passages, each moving in a single direction on a single track. The GBT passes directly beneath St. Gothard's Pass, a strategic north-south corridor that connects northern and southern Switzerland. The connection to the Large Hadron Collider has to be made primarily because of the bizarre opening ceremony that was live streamed to the entire world on June 1, 2016, that included this highly occult, demonic dance with characterization, beginning with a call to unite the religions of the world by conducting an interfaith blessing of the tunnel beside a statue of St. Barbara, the patron saint of miners. Following the blessing at the statue of St. Barbara, the press, along with visiting dignitaries, also paid tribute to the 9 miners who had lost their lives during construction of the tunnel.
So May 31st coming up is a blue moon. And then the very next day, June 1st, is the Gotthard Tunnel anniversary. And also June 1st is the first day of what is called Pride Land, which is Gay Pride Festival held right next to Sodom and Gomorrah. May 27th coming up is Sivan 11 on the Jewish calendar, how they do it today, which is 9/11. But the 9/11 that is really coming to me is September 11th this year, which is the Feast of Trumpets. It falls on September 11th, 9/11, which is also 7/11, because September actually means 7. And the reason that's really sticking with me is because of Trump's thing he did in his speech, where he mixed up 7/11 with 9/11. And the only month that could happen in would be September. September 11th, 7/11, and 9/11. And of course, really, the Feast of Trumpets is the highest probability for all the idioms surrounding it for the rapture.
I think what I want to do is I want to talk just for a second. I wrote this out, and it's very close to my heart because I was down there, and I watch our police and our firemen down on 7/11, down at the World Trade Center right after it came down.
But it could be before that. It could be at the Blue Moon. You know, there's also the 4th of July and other dates. But I'm going to keep Feast of Trumpets in mind as well. And even May 27th, which is Sivan 11, which is 9/11. Or May 24th, which is Pentecost. Or May 21st, 22nd at the end of the Omer count. These are all times to keep in mind.